today I'm going to be showing you what I personally believe that every woman needs to have in their makeup bag. So let's jump straight into the video. As you all know, there's a million different types of primers. So it is very important to use a primer. The reason why is because it's
a barrier over your skin. So when you put your makeup on, it sticks to the barrier rather than putting your makeup straight into your pores. If you don't use your primer and your makeup's going in your pores, when your skin produces a little bit of oil during the day, it's going to spit it back out and it's going to slide down your face, and that's why people's makeup goes patchy.
So it's really important to select a primer that is good for your skin. For myself, I do get a little bit oily with some open pores. So I like to use the Pore Minimizer and Mattifyer just through my T-zone and over my cheeks where my open pores are. And then, do I have a booger in my nose? False alarm. And then I go over the top with my Napoleon Purtis Pre-Foundation Primer. I don't want to use the Pore Minimizer and Mattifier all over my face because I don't want my entire face to be matte and I don't have open pores everywhere. So I just use that here, whereas this other one I use everywhere else because it's got vitamin E in it, so it acts as a moisturizer as well. This one is not going to hydrate me. I want this to hydrate me and this to minimize my pores. There are types of primers that correct redness. There are certain types of primers that give you a radiance glow, and there's another one as well that brightens your skin. So just keep in mind that there are different types of primers and make sure that you select the right one for yourself. You don't need to have a million of them, just one that works for you and keeps your makeup on. So next I'm going to be talking about foundations. I do believe that every woman needs to have at least 2 foundations, one for every day and then one for going out. And I like to put a fake tan on when I go out.
So the foundation that I select for going out is usually the Estee Lauder Double Wear because it stays on really, really well, and it's in a nice dark colour called Cashew. And that's usually the colour that I am when I have a fake tan on.
And my everyday foundation is the Napoleon Advanced Mineral Foundation. I love this one because it's dye, talc, oil, fragrance and paraben free, so it's really good for your skin. It's nice and hydrating, it stays on really well, and most of all, it's a medium coverage, so it's not too thick for every day. So I do highly recommend you have 2 different foundations, mostly because of the colors. So you want to have a lighter one for when you're not fake tanned and then a darker one for when you're fake tanned. It can be the exact same foundation.
If you're like a double wear freak and you like to wear full coverage all day or a day, then you can have
your natural double wear and then your fake tan double wear. And then in between seasons or when your fake tan's wearing off, you can mix them together.
Alternatively, if you don't want to buy the same foundation in a darker colour, what you can do is take your natural foundation, BT Dubs, this is a look 2, and I have a fake tan on now, so I'm very, very fair without a fake tan. You can get what we call a spray foundation, which darkens up your foundation and kind of sets it, which looks like...
Spray foundation looks like this. This is the Napoleon one and this is in a look 4. So you can just put a coat over the top of your look 2 and that's going to darken you up. Next, which is super, super important, is concealer for under the eyes. So obviously you can't put foundation around your eyes because of the sunscreen in it. So it's really important to have a concealer that you can put and do a bit of a V shape to highlight and then put over your eyelids as a base for your eyeshadow. I would totally recommend a little palette like this because it's got a bit of every color in there. So that's going to suit your natural color and your fake tanned color.
By the way, BT Dubs, I'm just assuming that people fake tan when they go out. If you don't, that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to hate you if you don't.
And then for going out, I love to use the MAC Pro Long Wear Concealer because it's a little bit thicker and it just covers a little bit better. A great drugstore product is the Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer. I use this one all the time. It's really nice for every day because it's quite lightweight, but it does definitely conceal the bags and the darkness under the eyes. Plus, it's super affordable, and the fact that you can just pop it straight under your eyes is amazing. It's definitely a time saver in the mornings before you go to work. So I do highly recommend that everyone has a powder foundation in their makeup bag. Powder foundations are really good because you can use them on their own if you're just popping out to get a coffee but you just want something on your face. And they're really good for setting your makeup also. I love the Napoleon Purtis Camera Finish Foundation because I find that it smooths your skin out so much and it makes your skin look super healthy and just really flawless. So I really love that, and plus it has no SPF in it, so when you put it over the top of your liquid,
your face won't flash back white in photos, hence why it's called Camera Finish.
Or alternatively, you can get a loose powder. So this one is translucent. It doesn't have any color payoff to it, even though it does look like a light vanilla kind of shade. It doesn't look like that when you put it on the face. And the benefit of a translucent or a loose powder is that it's going to set your makeup without adding coverage. So if you are wearing a foundation like this and you don't want it to be any heavier, but you do want to set so it doesn't, transfer or go too shiny, you can totally use a loose translucent powder, and you can also pop it in the oily areas of your face and leave the outsides a little bit glowy. So next, moving on to eyebrows. Eyebrows is totally a personal preference. I know that a lot of women do like to use a powder. This is a great little kit here. It's just the Essence one. I love it. I always talk about it. And it's good because it's got your lighter shade and your darker shade, and all you need is an angle brush to apply it. I do find that I don't use this on its own. I will only use this to set over the top of a pencil. So what I normally do is I go in with my Napoleon pencil because it's got a really small tip on it, so you can be really precise. And then I like to go over the top with the Duo powder by Essence because I find that it sets it and just makes it really flawless and really sharp. If I do use the Essence powder on its own, I just find that I go overboard and my brows just become wow brows and it's just too hectic. If I do want my brows to be water resistant, I will do my Napoleon pencil first to get my shape and definition, and then I'll go in with my Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade because it is a waterproof or water resistant pomade, and it's just super amazing. I love this stuff. For a more affordable brow pencil, Essence does a really good one for like $3 or $4 too. The only thing with the brow pencils that you need to sharpen is that the tip gets blunt really quickly and you can't get that precision to kind of create the definition, but they are good for filling in the brow.
But I find when it comes to brows, you do you boo, if you know what I mean.
So when it comes to bronzers, blushes, and highlighters, there are a million different options. So you've got the Matte Bronze by Napoleon Perdis, which is a really soft kind of bronze. It's not too dark. And then I've also got the MAC Studio Fix Powder Foundation, and this one's in NC45. And then this is a Napoleon Mosaic Bronzer, and you can mix all of the colors together. And this turns out to be a bit more of a terracotta kind of shade. So it all just depends on what kind of product you want to use, but as you can see, these are all different. It just depends on kind of what undertone you want and whether you want it to have coverage like this. For example, if I put this over my cheeks, I'm not going to be adding any thicker kind of coverage, whereas if I put this one on, it's making it thicker and it's going to make my skin look a little bit more flawless. But then again, if you don't want to add any more coverage, then you don't need something like that. But it's just showing you that products can be versatile. I love using bronzers through the sockets of my eye as a contour and as a blending out transition shade too. And I really love with this Mosaic is that you can use these single colors, to smoke out your under eyes and things like that. So it's just finding the product that best suits you and your lifestyle. Blush is totally a personal preference, so it's up to you which undertone you like. Some women prefer something a bit deeper, some other women prefer something a bit softer and a bit more bright. Some other women prefer something really subtle on their cheeks. With myself personally, I do prefer quite a bit of color, so I like to use either Napoleon Perdis Flushing or the Bobbi Brown Apricot. This one is super bright, but the thing is, the brighter that your blush is, the less you have to use, so therefore it's gonna last you a lot longer. If you select a blush that's super, super subtle, you're gonna be kind of digging a lot of it out to put it on, and then you're gonna run out of it faster. Whereas something with this, it's like 2 or 3 taps with your brush, tapping it off onto a tissue, and then you're done. I do think a highlighter on the top of the cheekbones is something really beautiful, and it really suits every woman. It is something that only takes 2 seconds to apply, and you can just use your blush brush to do it. So 2 products that I would recommend is getting your shimmery gold undertoned eyeshadow and using that as a highlight, or if you want to invest a little bit more money, the Champagne Pop Becca highlight is absolutely incredible. So it's up to you. You can get something like this for under $30, or you can get something like this for around the $60 mark, and they're both going to give you a beautiful finish. Where do I even start with eyeshadows? So to be honest with you, I don't think every woman needs eyeshadow. You don't need eyeshadow. As I said before, you can just grab a bronzer and use that through the socket of your eye, bit of mascara, and then you're good to go. But if you do want to create more of a technical eye look, something like a bit of a smoky eye or a classic eye or something like that, you are going to need multiple colors. So I'll just show you really quickly a nice little duo that I have from Bobbi Brown is the Rich Brown and the Taupe. You can pop the top through the crease of your eye and a rich brown on the outside, and that's a really quick and easy smoky eye. If you want to do something a little bit more intricate or have more options and versatility, I'd recommend the Napoleon Perdis Nude You palette. It is all nude matte colors except for this shade here, which has a bit of a shimmer in it, and this shade here, which looks really beautiful, blended through the crease of your eye to give a slight mauvey kind of undertone. These shades here can be used through your brows, as I was saying before with this brow kit, so it can double up in multiple areas on the face, which is gonna save you money in your makeup kit. Otherwise, the Urban Decay Naked palettes are really awesome because you get such a good variety of shades. Most of them have shimmers and matte tone. Just be careful with these because there are a lot of fake ones going around on eBay. My best friend got dodged with one of those, and you can just tell that it's fake because there's no pigment to it at all.
I'm going to leave eyeshadows there because, as I said, eyeshadows are definitely a personal favourite. But if you do want me to make a tutorial that is solely based on my die-hard eyeshadows, let me know in the comments below.
Now moving on to eyeliners, I think this is another personal preference. Every woman probably does start off with a pencil. These are really good because they can be used on the inside of the waterline, and it can be used on top of the eye as well. But keeping in mind, pencils usually do have a wax base to them and they are designed to be smudged. You're not going to get a sharp, liquid line wing with a pencil. You've then got the option of a liquid liner that comes in a pot like this. I personally am not in love with these. I find that they're quite hard to control, and I find it really difficult to get a nice sharp wing with these because the length of the brush is usually too long, so therefore you don't have as much precision and control. But I do love these because once I've popped my lashes on, I love going back over the lash band to conceal any glue. But ideally, you do really want to aim to master the use of a gel eyeliner with an angled brush. This trumps all by far. It's water resistant. It can be used on the inner rim at the bottom of the eye. It can be smudged out on purpose. You can create a fierce wing. You have a lot more control with an angled brush than what you would with one of these little brushes.
And these stay on, they don't sweat off, and they do not irritate my eyes. I'm not saying they're not going to irritate yours, but I haven't really heard of anyone's eyes being irritated with these. If these get anywhere near the inside of your eyes, oh dear Lord.
Next, onto mascaras. Every woman needs a good mascara. I love the Dior Show for every day. I love that it really thickens up my lashes and separates them. But then for going out, I like to use a waterproof one, just because you never know, you might get really drunk and cry. Who knows? And this is just the Essence Get Big Lashes Volume Boost Waterproof.
If you're someone who gets quite creasy under here and your mascara transfers onto this area, you can use a regular mascara on top and then a waterproof mascara on the bottom, because it's then not going to transfer and you're not going to ruin your beautiful lashes up the top with a waterproof mascara. Because I personally do think that if you use a waterproof mascara every single day, on your top lashes, they're going to be ruined. Well, let's be honest. Couple more things to go and then we're almost done.
A pencil sharpener is a must-have for obvious reasons. And if you do like to apply false lashes, I would recommend a pair of tweezers, a little pair of beauty scissors, and some eyelash glue. Now, when you're going out on the town and you want your makeup to last all night, I would totally recommend some form of setting spray. This one here is the Skindinavia No More Shine Makeup Finish. This does have properties in it which make your makeup stay. This one here is the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus. This one is not marketed as a setting spray. Keep that in mind. It is a settling spray. It helps your makeup and all the powders kind of fuse in and settle onto the skin really nicely. But it does contain glycerin, which is a bit of a sticking agent. So it does help with the makeup setting, but it doesn't actually set your makeup.
Now, the reason why I'm holding my beauty blender as well is because if you are going to spray these directly onto the face, you are going to have a little bit of residue and some quite wet liquid on your face. And you do need to kind of pounce that in and blend it really quickly.
And then I think this is the very last product I'm going to talk about. I'm not mentioning any lip products today because that is totally a personal preference, just like eyeshadows. It's quite a you do you boo kind of situation. If you want me to do a lipstick tutorial on which colors every woman should have, let me know in the comments below. But last but not least, I'm moving on to the Napoleon Perdis brush cleaner. This stuff is the bomb.com. It's the only brush cleaner that I'm in love with. It's so easy because it's just 1 or 2 pumps onto a tissue, back and forth with a brush, and then it's clean. It's dry instantly, and it's pretty much a lifesaver. So it gets me through the weeks when I don't have time to fully shampoo my brushes, and it's a must-have. Anyway, that brings me to the end of this week's tutorial. I hope you guys loved it, and I'll see you next time. Bye! It's so don't tell Matt that happened. So the you select another talking tummy. The Napoleon pout. I don't even know what I'm saying. How do I say it? Like, I can't breathe. Don't be greedy. That's terrible advice.